Well, hey everybody, today we're going to look at the Akaso V50 Elite Take 2. And why am I calling it Take 2? Because they sent me a second version of this. It's supposed to be their improved version. I think it's a firmware update. We'll see how it does. And plus, Akaso's given away a V50 Elite to one of my viewers. One of you can get in on a chance, and that's coming up a little bit later on in the video. I'll explain how you can get one, and that's coming right up. And just to kind of preface this, before we get into the video samples of this Akaso V50 Elite, I'm not going to get into all the specs because I've done it before in a previous video. What I'll do is I'll put a link right up here to that original review video, the first look at the Akaso V50 Elite. So you can kind of take a look at that footage, some of the things I didn't like about it, and then we'll look at the footage from this one, and then I'll share my thoughts with you. And then plus, you know, as always, I got to throw in just a little bit of a comparison video between the V50 original, the V50 Pro, the V50 Elite, and the brand new V50X. All right, so we're looking at the Akaso V50 Elite camera again. I guess kind of a take two, but this is their improved version. Now, I think that the improved version is a firmware update that actually fixed a lot of issues with this camera, but I can tell so far, my initial review last year of this camera, I didn't like the image quality because it was very green on a lot of the saturation. Color profile seems to be much better. I'm just hand holding this right now. I'm shooting 4K 30 frames per second. It does offer electronic image stabilization at 4K 30, but not at 4K 60, but it does do 4K 60 frames per second. So if you stick this in a gimbal, you can get some nice smooth footage at 60 frames per second, and I'll test that later on. Also, I'll do some 1080p tests, 2.7K tests, and I'll upscale all of it to 4K when I upload it to YouTube. But we're just going to see how the camera performs now in these different lighting conditions. Now 2.7K 60 frames per second. No electronic image stabilization. This is 1080p 60 frames per second. EIS is on. So the image on the back of the screen looks very, very nice, very sharp and detailed. But that's on the back of the screen. Now we're at 1080p, 30 frames per second. EIS still on, handheld. Back to 4K, 30 frames per second, EIS on. Now I've got the white balance set to auto, so let's see how the dynamic range is, looking into the darker shadow areas back here, and then into the brighter areas. There's a good shadow area right there. Let's see if we can see any detail. like I said, just hand holding this, and we'll do a quick little audio test with the camera just to see how the audio sounds. So quick little audio test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Talking in a nice normal tone of voice. It's a pretty day, but God, it's so hot. I mean, September in Texas, where in many states, September, you're starting to get into a nice fall, cooler weather. Not here. Hundreds are still abundant, and high humidity to boot. Alright, shooting 4K 60 frames per second, and this time I'm using the Hohem iSteady Pro 2 gimbal so that we can get some nice smooth shots with this camera. And we'll see how the 60 frames per second looks, especially slowed down. All right, and in my final examination test of the new Akaso, well, I can't say new, but the Akaso V50 Elite improved version, I'm going to compare them to all the Akasos. The Akaso V50 Original, the V50 Pro, the Akaso V50 Elite, and the Akaso V50X. So we're going to shoot 4K, 30 frames per second, EIS on all 4 cameras. Got them all strapped to a board together, and we're just going to walk around the yard and let you decide which one has the better image quality and stabilization. When it comes to action cameras, you know, the caveat has been put so high now with electronic image stabilization, and these are my final thoughts about the Akaso V50 Elite. Its build quality is extremely nice. It's got that rubberized plastic feel on the outside of it. Touchscreen, very responsive. The user interface is very good. Audio, it's a little bit on the hot side. What I mean by that is it clips pretty easily, so you don't have to yell or you don't have to project your voice very loud. It'll pick it up, but it's still a little bit on the tinny side. It's not as warm sounding as what the V50 Pro is. The image stabilization is on a scale of terrible, decent, good, and excellent. I'll put this one between decent and good. It still has a little bit of that wobbly effect, and it's been with all the Akaso cameras, and with a ton, and it's not just Akaso, it's with a ton of action cameras that are out on the market. When you look at GoPro Hero 7 Black, Hyper Smooth, image stabilization or the Osmo Action with its Rocksteady, there is no comparison anymore. When you look at these action cameras and you look at the image stabilization, you have to remember that they're doing the best that they can on a budget. It's not a $400 camera. It's not a $350 camera. It's just over $100. So when you keep that in mind with all of these action cameras, you have to remember you're kind of getting what you pay for. Decent to good image stabilization is still better than none at all. Like I said, if you want an Akaso V50 Elite, link in the description below. Akaso has done this for all of my viewers here at Worth It or Not. So click on the link, put in your email address, it automatically gets you entered into their giveaway. It's only for 7 days, and then at 7 days they're going to pick a winner, and they will email the winner and get your name and your address and ship you the Akaso V50 Elite. And I believe this is worldwide, so hey, it's an opportunity for you to get in on a free action camera. Not too shabby. And in the comment section below, tell me, what do you think about the V50, the V50 Pro, the V50 Elite here, and the V50X? Which one did you think? Because I'm really curious, because I'm going to leave this up to you. I'm not going to give you my opinion this time around. I want to hear your opinion. What do you think about these action cameras? Which one had the best image quality? And then which one had the best electronic image stabilization? And we can even throw the caveat in of which one had the best audio. And after a couple of days, I'll pin a comment of what my opinion was looking at all the footage. But this way it gives you, the consumer, an opportunity to check out image quality for these action cameras. So until the next video, I hope you guys have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you later. And what you get for your jeez Louise. And what damn, it's dusty. It's dusty up in the game room. Somebody clean this freaking thing.